Hello Virgo, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Virgo. Information to you for you that came out while I was shuffling, and then we'll go into, we'll pull the cards and go into this month, okay? I feel like one of the overwhelming energies that's coming through first for you guys, and this is something that you've been dealing with for quite some time. It's not anything new or recent development, okay? I feel like you are somebody overall that you've always done things by the book. And doing things by the book have provided you with the framework, with the, I want to say, the dedication, with the motivation to, get things done in an orderly fashion, being a little bit careful and cautious about, following procedures, rules, regulation, taking the safe route when you could have just, been reckless and had a lot of fun. I feel like a lot of you have taken the safe route because you value doing things by the book. And over time, I feel like no matter where you go, you do things by the book, but everybody is throwing a wrench in the works, mainly because they're not conforming to those guidelines, to those social expectations, or even to those procedural expectations. And so it feels almost as if things are so much easier for those other people that break rules. And things are so much harder for you because you've had to do things by the book. And so coming through for this month, I feel like a lot of you are really re-examining where you have really held yourself back and what you could do differently so that you can have the, the freedom of movement, so that you can have the overall, I want to say, like, the creativity to do things that are a little bit more unorthodox, that are a little bit more outside the box. And you don't want to just do them recreationally, in your free time. You want to be able to implement those things in your work environment so that you can have a lot more job satisfaction, so you can have a lot more room for movement, and the work environment won't feel so stifling. So that's the first energy coming through. The other thing that's coming through for you guys as well is I feel like this sense of claustrophobia. And the claustrophobia basically deals a lot overall with where you are right now and where you're trying to go, okay? And I feel like there is a disconnect. You want to be here. You want to go here. And the steps along the way, it feels like for the very first time in your life, it's not clearly laid out. You're a very methodical sign. So usually jumping from A to Z, you see all the intermediate steps that is required of you. But this is the first time where you're kind of like at a loss for words. You don't really know how the pieces of the puzzles are going to connect. And you're trying to figure out what you need to do and how you can, forge that path for yourself. So it feels almost as if this is the first time where you feel like you're fumbling around in the dark and you need that guidance. I do feel overall that, some of you will be reaching out to new people in order to fill in those dots, fill in those blank spaces so that you can figure out where you want to go. And then for others of you, I feel that if you're not careful, this month can bring about that sense of claustrophobia where you're going to behave outside of your norm, where you're going to behave kind of like uncharacteristically you, and you're going to throw a lot of wrenches in the works for yourself and for other people. So I feel like a lot of unpredictable things will kind of come out from you that kind of throws people off, and it's like they didn't even see it coming. Depending on how you handle this energy, it's going to be very important. And I also feel you need to handle the energy well, okay? And you need to be a lot more careful about communication with other people so that they understand where you're coming from and that they don't see you as somebody who's characteristically quirky or just, acting outside of your usual self. That might really upset people, and that might not bode well for you in a work environment, especially if the work environment itself is a little bit more orthodox and a little bit more structured and, traditional. Last message that I have here is, it feels to me as if there are some things being revealed here in the work environment. Some changes, some restructuring is happening, and I feel that you're going to get full knowledge of it, okay? Intentions from other people, work situations, if they're changing, I feel like there's going to be some type of a blueprint that's kind of laid out for you, okay? So not to worry and don't stress over it, okay? So let's go into your reading for this month. First of all, there is going to be a lot of communication here when it comes to, in the work environment, when it comes overall to like supervisors, managers, and people who are in positions of power, okay? This is a card overall about somebody that is assessing a situation, and they're trying to see who's the best role, who's the best candidate, how is everybody performing, are they performing to the best of their capabilities, and things like that. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of back and forth between you and a supervisor, somebody who is in charge. And I do feel as well, they want your feedback, they want your honesty, and they want your honest appraisal and assessment of a situation, whether or not it's feasible, whether or not it's something the company can do, or whether or not they need to scrap it all together. So I feel like you might be called upon to, either defend or reject a certain project. And they're really looking to you for your honest and expertise and your honest assessment and appraisal. And it's really important as well that if you really strongly believe in something, stand up for it, okay? Like defend it, stand up for it, and, tell people why it's in their enlightened, self-interest to pursue this course of action, mainly because not only do you feel like, it's going to pan out, it might be difficult and they might be very conflict averse, so they don't really want to get involved. But I feel that it's in your best interest for everybody involved to really speak your truth and to really state your case so that you're able to get everybody on board at the same time. Another thing that I'm feeling for you is that there is going to be opportunities here, and I do see heavy travel energy. So this is a card overall of expansion, okay? And what it indicates overall is I feel some of you are thinking about in order to undertake this trip, this vacation, this endeavor, okay? So I feel like there is contemplations overall of a major trip that you're trying to save up money for. And I feel that a lot of you will be traveling with another person. And this is going to be something that they're saying like a very soulful connection. If you're traveling with another person, it's going to open you up for a myriad of new experiences. It's really going to be emotionally very fulfilling, and I feel that there will be a lot of heartfelt, soulful connection, communication as well coming through as a result of you embarking on a trip with another person. What I do sense as well is, first of all, it feels to me as if, especially for those of you who have been in the field of service, okay, if you have been working to serve other people. So, for example, a public servant, a civil servant, a teacher, a community organizer. If your job involves taking care of other people, teaching people, serving other people in some way, I do feel that a big part of you, I'm sensing like there will be opportunities for you to do more with that, okay? So there is, it's like taking on additional responsibilities, doing something because we believe in the good of it. We believe that we're able to help other people. And so we're taking on this additional endeavor, even though we have a lot on our plate already. So I feel like some of you are being pulled and culled and cultivated for a position where you're going to be able to give back to other people. And you might have, first of all, you might have shrugged off, that endeavor, mainly because you're just like, no, I don't know if I want to be in the spotlight. I want to work behind the scenes. I'm not comfortable with, putting myself out there, putting my agenda out there. And so you might even doubt your skills. And I do feel there's an element, a huge, huge element here about public speaking, about having to state your case, even though there's a lot of people opposing you. Okay, so this is kind of like prying the answers from the lion's mouth. The people that you're dealing with as well, I feel like they don't have, they're lacking the confidence, they're lacking the communication skills, or even the cognitive skills to really communicate in a meaningful way. And I feel like they're shying away from conflict as well. They don't really want to say what's on their mind. And I do sense overall that you're going to be in a position where you're gently guiding them so that they can find a sense of direction. So I feel like a lot of you are working either with people who are very marginalized, impoverished, working with children even that might not have the vocabulary to state what they want and what they need, or you're working with somebody, you're dealing with somebody that has been through some type of depression, emotional trauma, and you're providing the tools for them to be able to overcome their fears, overcome their anxieties, overcome, this sense of worthlessness so that they can give themselves a voice and they can also be heard. Okay, so I'm sensing many of you are going to be working in this capacity where you're empowering other people to do something by providing them either the financial resources, the inspiration, the emotional support so that they can get things moving for themselves and that they can free themselves from, this self-imposed prison. Okay, this sense of like, oh, I'm not good enough, or this sense of like feeling very trapped in their circumstances. Okay, so you're battling for other people, you're battling to promote a specific agenda, and you're battling for the greater good is what I'm feeling for this year. I'm sorry, this month. And the other thing I want to talk to you very briefly about, and this is something that has been coming out for the past few months. Okay, so going back to that first message that I mentioned earlier, okay, I do sense, Virgos, that you're somebody you're a sign that is very humble, and a lot of you, you don't, I feel like you care about money in a way where you want to have enough of it to have the life that you want. And when it gets too excessive, or when you have way too much money, you're going to give it away, because I feel like most of you operate under the premise that, whatever we give away, it will come back to us, maybe in a different form. If we give away money, it can come back to us in good karma, for example. So you do believe in the rules of the universe. You do believe in actions and consequences and karma and all of those things. And I feel like we're dealing here with two very disparate groups of Virgo and people. And I feel like the first group, you try to do everything by the book, right? Like I mentioned. And I feel like you have your heart and your intentions in the right place. And I do feel that financially, because your heart and your intentions are kind of aligned, they're strictly aligned. The type of work that you do is very empowering for other people. And that's where you're able to achieve a lot of emotional satisfaction. When you're able to achieve a lot of emotional satisfaction and you're very good at your job, that's when financial windfalls will start to come in for you, okay? Because I feel like it is coming in a way where we make sacrifices, long-term sacrifices, working at a job that we absolutely hate. It pays very little, but we love the work that we do because it's empowering. It helps other people. And it gives us that sense of purpose. So I feel like if you're drudging through it, there will be financial windfall coming back for you. And I also feel like for others of you, especially if you have been a little bit more like, I want to say like, if you've gotten into a work situation purely because it paid really well, because you want to climb that corporate ladder, but the work itself might have not been in alignment with you, meaning that you feel like you couldn't really help other people. It was just more like, a corporate job. You're just like a cog in the machine, but it pays well and it allows you financial mobility. It allows you to rise up. It allows you to climb that corporate ladder. I feel like you're having a little bit of that turning point, that fork in the road, where you're trying to figure out what's next. Where do I go from here? what's in store for me, because this job is no longer emotionally fulfilling. And I feel that your soul is yearning for a lot more. But there's a lot of uncertainty. If you're of the latter group and you want to leave, there are a lot of opportunities out there for you, but it's basically doing the same thing over and over again and not having that emotional work satisfaction. And so you're trying to figure out, what's my next step? What do I do so that I'm not ending up in a place where I feel, drained? You want to feel inspired, and you also want to be able to give back too. So I feel like that's where the dilemma is. I don't feel that this energy is something that you can overcome on your own. You definitely need some type of mentorship, okay? You need to bounce ideas off another person that has been there, has done that, and is trying to, that can give you that outsider's perspective, that can give you the wisdom and the insights, okay? So I'm sensing that sometime for this month, there will be somebody that fits the mold that will be in the picture for you. Could be a supervisor that you have right now. It could be, somebody that has traveled a lot and have even started their own company, their own organization, their own nonprofit, their own thing, that somebody who has made it. And they're a great source of inspiration and a wealth of knowledge as well, because they see you with a lot of possibilities, with a lot of ideas, but they're not seeing that connection that you're making, okay? So I feel like you have somebody that's going to be coming into the picture to give you that type of inspiration. The last thing that I want to end on this note is I'm drawn to this card here, and the Six of Pentacles basically indicates to me a financial windfall, a big financial windfall. And I feel like for some of you, there might have been some situation where I feel like there might have been somebody that passed away in the past. Okay, this could be like the terms on the will, the terms of the contract, or some things not sorted out. And so this is the month in which things that are hidden, as it concerns money, as it concerns investment, as it concerns inheritances, all of those things will be coming to light, and it will help you resolve a lot of issues concerning finances, concerning money. And what I'm also seeing as well is information will also come to light as it concerns the work that you're doing and whether or not you should stay or you should pursue other opportunities. Because I feel like you're being pushed to do something more, to do something bigger and greater. And there's a lot of fears and anxieties within you. You don't want to be on center stage. You want to work behind the scenes. You want to make things okay for the people that wants to, be in the limelight. You want to be the person that takes care of logistics, takes care of things, so that whoever wants to steal the limelight can kind of shine on top. And you want to work behind the scenes. You want to be you want to have that, very low key lifestyle. And I feel that you're being groomed for a lot more. And you need to embrace that, because I feel that from the top down, if you're able to give yourself that leverage to rise to the top, you can make a lot of good sweeping changes for all the people at the bottom. You can enhance productivity, you can do things really well, you can provide mentorship, and you can also create that structure, that foundation for other people, okay? So think of it in a way, it's like, we're not here to hog the limelight, but I feel that that might be the most meaningful way for you to give back. So if giving back is kind of like, your mentality, think of it as, I'm giving back in a way where it's not about charity. It's about organizational efficiency, being productive. So you would be, in a way, creating that structure for other people so that they can be a lot more productive, so that they can be a lot more, so that they come to work with a sense of purpose, with a sense of guidance that you're providing for them. Okay? So Virgos, I wish you all the best for this month. I feel like there are a lot of like soul searching that you have been doing for the past few months. And I feel like there's a lot of clarity that's going to be coming through for you guys, okay? So, best of luck. And let's move on here to your love reading. Whoa, okay. So let me get that card, excuse me. So first of all, Virgos, I feel like for those of you in stable relationships, so if you have a relationship partner, and especially, it might or might not even be, stable, but I feel like if you have a relationship partner, there is a lot of communication that is very positive, to allow you to connect with one another, okay? It's linked up here with the High Priestess. So first of all, the High Priestess basically indicates a revelation, something that our eyes are open to, and something that we start to thinking about taking the relationship to the next level, proposing, as well as revealing how you truly feel about another person, and having the emotions and the commitment kind of like bounce back at you where the other person feels the same way. And it's coupled up here with the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups basically means a situation where two people are on the same mindset. They're committed to each other. And so I feel like there might even be a union, marriage, engagement, and things like that in store for you guys, okay? And that's for people who are in a coupled relationship. In the past, what we have here is the Sun and the Knight of Wands. A lot of you have been dealing with a person that is a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And for some of you, this person might have been still like, they're still in your life, and you're trying to work things out, and you're trying to, hash out your differences with this person. For others, this is somebody already in the past that you have kind of allowed to drift away. And I feel for some of you, this is somebody that, you might have been engaged to, you might have lived together, you might have made plans for the future together. But there were a lot of ego issues, like power struggle, power dynamics within the relationship. The other person might be a little bit too independent, and you felt that their independence threatened the stability of the relationship. And then likewise, I feel like they're so independent that the relationship felt like it was stifling, felt like it was too much, felt like it really curbed their independence. Like in order for them to stay in it, they had to watch their tongue, watch what they say. They had to, curtail their individuality or their own sense of independence in order to cater to the relationship. And I feel like a big part of you, I do sense power struggle. I do sense like, just an energy where it was very exciting. It was very dynamic. And the other person, I don't feel like they're a bad person. They're just very brutally honest and brutally stubborn. And you yourself, you have a tendency to be very stubborn and to like really hold firm, like to dig your heels in the sand, When you have made up your mind about a specific thing, about a specific position, you tend to be very stubborn too. So I feel like there were major power struggles, major clashes of ego in this past relationship. I do sense overall that some of you will get communication from your ex, and they're really telling you to be careful of this energy, especially because it was something very fun, very exciting, very dynamic, and it was just like this rush of energy that you don't often get with a lot of people. So this person knows how to bring that out in you. This person is very fun, exciting, dramatic, is what I'm sensing. Might have been, I feel like for a lot of you, it's just the Leo energy comes up, the Aries energy comes up, but fire sign, so Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, or they might not even be a fire sign, just exhibit the energy of someone who's very dynamic. I feel though, from your end, this is kind of like, I feel like this is somebody that has always pursued you. They might have a big jealous streak. So for example, if you're single, then they act very detached. If you're with somebody else, they have to know what you're up to. They have to know who you're with. And they might try to pursue you knowing that you're in a relationship. So I feel like for some of you, this is going to be, this might be coming back in, or you might still be hearing from this person. I would urge you to be careful if you're already in a relationship not to get involved, because I feel like coming on the heels of this with the High Priestess, it indicates information coming to light. It indicates the truth being revealed, and that might not, go well for you, okay? So moving away from that, I feel like a lot of you are in a stable relationship. You might be newly wedded to a person. You might be thinking about traveling. You might be thinking about traveling. And you're trying to get your finances in order if you are especially traveling with a significant other, okay? So I feel like there's a lot of plans, a lot of journeys, a lot of trips being planned between you and a person that you are in a relationship with. Crowning this energy is something that you're thinking about. First of all, we have here the Queen of Pentacles, and we have as well the World. Especially for those of you who are involved with another earth sign, so a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. This is somebody who is like, their world is starting to open up. So career-wise, they might be, making a lot of traction, making a lot of positive breakthroughs in their career. They're also going to be possibly traveling a lot as well. So I feel like that's going to put a little bit of a wrench in the works when you're trying to build a relationship and the other person is physically not there. So I feel like some of you have some anxieties overall as it concerns or relate to a partner who has to travel a lot, possibly for business, even pleasure. But I feel like travel is indicated here, and it might create a little bit of insecurity in your existing relationships. But I feel like the heart of it is that you have somebody that you really care about, that is willing always to meet you halfway. So they're saying, calm your anxieties, calm your worries, because I feel like they're always going to come back. They're always going to meet you halfway. You're the person that they trust and love, and they're always going to, rely on you to be the person that they can bounce ideas off of. So they're saying not to fret and not to worry if you're in this predicament, okay? The Foundation deals with some things that you already know. We have here the Hermit, and we have here the Moon. I'm sensing that some of you, you're in a relationship and you're questioning your partner's honesty, you're questioning your partner's integrity, you're questioning your partner's intentions. And once again, we have here, the Hermit is like digging for information, looking through cell phones, looking through emails, looking through, I want to say, like, I'm feeling some of you might be looking through computers, databases, browsing history. I feel like there's an element of suspicion here. And I feel like if you're only thinking it, you're not out there digging for it yet, there is a lot, it's almost like I'm sensing that you have some trust issues here, but it's not coming through from your partner. I feel like it's coming through mainly because, there might be communication from an ex from your end, and you're just like, oh, I wonder if they're communicating with their ex too. And then I feel like this is a situation where it's kind of like you're feeding into your worst fears. You're feeding into that sense of insecurity. And they're telling you not to worry about this because your partner is already, very much like your soulmate. So feeding into, all of this paranoia is not going to be good for your relationship. And I honestly feel like some of you have been in relationships where you were very faithful, and you might have found out there were emails between you an ex and like your significant partner, for example, your significant other. And I feel like it's creating a lot of anxieties within you. Okay, so for coupled people, you know, it's very difficult to confirm a negative, right? So even if you were to dig through somebody's phones and you don't find anything, the next time, a few months later, you're going to dig through it again, hoping to find something. So it's really, really difficult to confirm a negative. And so in this situation, what they're saying is that you need to have a lot more faith and trust in the relationship. You are not a sign that dates lightly. And so you need to understand and trust that you have done the extensive screening before you even give that person the time of day. So whoever you're with, I feel like you need to trust in that relationship. You need to trust your partner, okay? No matter what, all right? I do sense that there might have been I'm seeing some of you are getting communication as well, or your partner is getting communication from their exes, okay? And I feel like that's sparking the whole trust issue. But I do feel that you've done proper, like you've done the whole vetting process. You know who you're involved with. So it's really important to have faith and trust in your partner. What is coming through for you here is the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups overall is expectations coming back. It's like the Seven of Cups deals with like fantasy. It's like fantasy coming down to reality. Okay? And we have as well the Nine of Cups. I feel for people in relationships, there is going to be